Are you a home buyer or home seller in Ayden, North Carolina?
We hope you are because we love doing these market updates about Ayden and telling you what's going on because you might hear all these big news and how bidding wars are back, but is that happening in Ayden just yet? We need to understand what is going on and see with the data.
Exactly. And today we wanted to jump onto all the data, and we is gonna start with the inventory because it's one of the most important factors to know how the market is going.
Right, so how many active homes? Active means houses that are for sale at the filming of this video.
Therefore, 44 homes they were in the market in the month that we finished in January, and a month before that in December we had 40 homes, and last year at this time we had 32 homes, which brings us to 37.5% of increase.
Now let's talk about pending. Now I want to remind everybody watching this that interest rates started to fall at the last week of December. So Christmas week to New Year's week, interest rates started to fall. So with that, pending homes. 15 pending homes, which means they went under contract, happened in January, which is significantly higher than the month before, which was 7, and on par to last year at this time. So it was no change overall year over year, but it tells you from last month to this month a huge spike. Now, what about sold homes?
Exactly. The sold homes, actually, there were 10 homes sold
8.
in December last year, but in January, we just finished it. We had 8 homes sold.
Now, I want to point out, though, with that 8 homes sold, these homes would have been under contract in December, so before the interest rates fell. So, is that?
And then last year at this time was 12, which brings us to actually 33.3% of decrease.
But I would say next month we will see an increase with this because, again, interest rates started to fall, people are buying a home. But at the filming of this video, the data tells us that we're technically, is it a buyer's market or a seller's market? Where we look at the math and we look at active plus pending divided by sold will then give us this math number. And if it's over 6 months, it's a buyer's market. If it's under 6 months, it's a seller's market. And things change all the time. So at the filming of this video, what happened in January?
Before that, we're going to do our introduction.
Oh, let's hit it. Hi, it's Alan Victoria. Welcome to our channel and podcast.
And if this is your first time in our podcast and YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe and get notified.
Also, you call text all the time, 252-327-3357. We love talking to you. Don't be shy. Also, grab our buyer's guide and seller's guide in the description below. Okay, now tell us about the inventory.
Okay, therefore, the inventory, as my wife said, in the month of January that we have the data was 7.37 months, which is what?
Was technically a buyer's market. So if you're looking to buy and you want Ayden, honestly, right now is the time to buy because interest rates are starting to go down. You don't want to get into a bidding war yet. And the inventory at the filming of this video was there. So just a heads up.
And then in a month before, in December, the inventory was 4.7 months. Therefore, we had a huge jump. Last year at this time was 3.92 months. Therefore, we definitely has over 88% of increase of inventory in Ayden, North Carolina.
When interest rates start going down even more, I would say that this is going to be a major shift in our area. Now let's talk about days on the market. So average days on the market is in January 2021, January 2024 was 211. I got all my numbers mixed up. Was 211.
And the last months before that, which is December 2023, we had 128 days.
And the year before that, what was that?
27 days.
So you can see a lot of it seems to be standing still. But however, we dig in deeper with these numbers in a minute and say, is it all new construction? Is it previously owned? So just stay tuned for that. Now, before we get into all of that, though, let's talk about median list price versus median sale price. And I like to always have this little caveat here that this is not the same home. We look at the middle number of each list and we talk about what the middle number is. So list price is what they're asking for. Sold price is obviously what they got for it. The number is not the same house. So do not think 123 Main Street sold for such a discount because the middle number is not going to be the same address. Exactly. So I just want to point that out. So what is the median list price in January?
In January 2024 that we had the data, it was $309,445, and a month before that, in December, we had $311,490, and that this time last year we were $298,995, which brings us to 3.5% of increase from the last year.
Which is interesting because we just told you there's more inventory a little bit, but you can see list prices went up. Now let's talk about sale price as well. So for sale price in the month of January, it was $288,050. For December, the month before that, it was $297,450. Now, before we start saying, oh, things are going down, last year at this time, it was $272,500, which was a 5.71% change.
Exactly. Therefore, the next thing that we wanted to talk is like a quick and dirty way of the basically calculating that how much a house has, the price of each house is. And saying that in Ayden, North Carolina, we really didn't have any condos or townhomes to be built or pre-owned. That's why the number that we're going to tell you is based off the single family.
Right, but it also for all of it because there's no data.
Exactly. And as of right now, for all brand new construction, which is all the single family home, we are talking about $155 per square feet.
Whereas previously owned homes are going at $167 a square foot. So you can see it's actually in your favor in Ayden to buy new construction if you can find a small one. So that's a rarity.
Exactly. Therefore, what my wife talked about a little bit earlier was we need also to have extra data, which we're going to break it down here for you, which is inventory of the monthly supply to understand why the average days on the market was high. And here we're going to talk about it in details.
Okay, so in January 2024, new construction was 3.8 months of supply, whereas previously owned was 1.5 months of supply. So you can see there's a huge difference here. What about the month before that?
And months before that, in December, we had even more, 4.2 months of the supply in the brand new construction and just 1.3 months of supply in pre-owned home.
Which is a really interesting number to know as well. So a lot of Ayden is new construction. Moving on, let's talk about mean home value. Now, what is mean? It is weighted averages. So they've factored in the mansions, they factored in the shacks, and they try to give us a weighted average. And with the weighted averages that we get, this is where appreciation comes from. So this is where we kind of say this is what the appreciation rate is. And in Ayden, in January 2024, what was the mean home value?
The mean home value was $199,896.
Wow, what about the month before that?
A month before that, in December 2023, we were talking about $199,233. And last year at this time, we were talking about $181,705, which brings us to what?
A year-over-year change of 10%. So that's a lot of appreciation that is in a lot of people's pockets or in Ayden.
Exactly.
Now, let's talk about rent, because rent is the cheapest rent around.
Exactly. Therefore, the median rent actually in Ayden for all bedroom is $750, and it went up to $1,500
when he was looking at the rental increases.
Exactly.
Now, if you're a home buyer, I kind of gave you hints at the beginning. Here's what I think we should be thinking about really seriously. Yes, interest rates are expected to go down later in the year, 100%. It is an election year. It happens every time in an election year. Things happen. Interest rates are going to probably decrease. Exactly. People are betting on it. People are actually already in bidding wars in other parts of the country. So because of this, so it is a big factor to take into consideration. However, we are not in bidding wars here in Ayden, North Carolina, not yet, and hopefully never. But it means that if you want to buy a house, now is really the time, because you will not have a house. If the perfect house for you hits the market in Ayden, now's the time. You can do lots of things later, but if you can afford the house, I would say now is a great time to buy. So I would definitely take that into consideration. Now, if you're a seller.
And if you're a seller, look at the market. You had more than at least 10% of appreciation in the market from last year to this year. Therefore, that puts the sellers in a good position for the appreciation. And also, what we said based on the data, we have 5.71% increase of the sold price from last year to this year, which again put the sellers in a position to get the top dollar for the house that they want to sell. And also, if you have a pre-owned home, we just have 1.5 months of the supply based on the data, which is not that much. And definitely we need to sit with us, Alan Victoria, as a real estate professionals, that we can run numbers for you and then price it correctly, which is super important. And also make sure any unfinished project around the house that need to be done, declutter, stage the house to be ready for those beautiful pictures. And beside of that, a marketing that gives you the top dollar.
So we hope we love doing these videos. We love giving you the monthly market updates in Ayden, and we can't wait to see you again next month.
Exactly. And don't forget to call Alan Victoria, Pinder real estate agent in Greenville. We'll love to connect with you.